Hello and welcome everyone. It is Thursday, August 30th, 2018. Yesterday was New Comic Book Day, best day of the week. Had some good books out yesterday. A little, I know I said I wouldn't say a lighter week, but it actually was a little lighter week. No major keys came out yesterday, but there still was some really good stuff. Few first appearances, that kind of thing. So we'll get into that in just a second. I'll also talk about some books down the road that I'm looking at. I always like to kind of close on that in my haul videos. And again, thank you to all my subscribers. Really appreciate you taking the time to watch my videos, send me comments. Love being part of this community. And I got some great subscribers. You know, you guys are awesome. A lot of you will, you're asking great questions. You're sending me tips on books, stuff that you heard. So it's just awesome. We all help each other out, which is great. So yeah, thanks everybody. And again, I want to do another shout out to a comic shop. I'm trying to kind of spread them around. So I had a couple in Texas, I had a couple in Canada, so now I'm doing another one in the States. This one is in Phoenix, Arizona. It's all about books and comics. It's been there for quite a long time. I was reading a little bit about it. I believe it's like 36 years they've been in Phoenix. They a couple years ago they had to move, I don't know, like a block where they had been initially to their new location, but I mean they're still basically in the same spot. But been there a long time. They got a huge store. There's some images on the screen. Like, man, I'd love to go to that comic shop. They got some tons of stuff there and back issues and toys and everything. So man, that's a comic book collector's paradise for me. So anyways, I definitely, that one's a little closer. I could probably get to Phoenix a little easier than Texas, so maybe I'll head down there. Maybe I'm going to Vegas one day, I'll head over that one. But anyways, yeah, all about books and comics. That is my shout out this week. Their address and phone number and everything is down in the comments below if you want to check them out. Give them a call or send them an email or even stop in and say hi. So there you go. Get into my books this week. I'm going to start with my independents as usual. Picked up a Walk Through Hell number 4. Just the one cover this week, and it's been a really good series. And I mean, I like those dark stories. And Aftershock, I'll talk about it again at the end, but just so you guys are aware, a lot of these independent companies like Aftershock, Scout Comics, Red 5, they're pushing their comics to the TV and movie studios, so they're trying to get them up. So there's a really good chance a lot of these new ones are going to get optioned just because they're actively hunting that out for their writers and stuff. So I've said it before, I really hope you're looking at some of these independent companies because there's some good stuff coming out of there. And because so many of them are getting optioned, and obviously the money's coming in, you're getting a lot of top writers and artists going there now because they're going to make just as much or more in just doing one series as with a whole contract with Marvel or DC. And plus they have the freedom there to do what they want and also keep the rights to all the characters they create. So they're really good to look at. From IDW, Rick and Morty, Dungeons and Dragons, that's number 1. That's cover A, and then I got cover B as well. I didn't get any of the limited variants. My store didn't have any, but those are kind of the 2 I wanted anyway, so that's kind of cool. Take a read of that. I haven't read it yet, but it looks good. This is what I recommended. Again, it's another one of these new story arcs coming out, House Amok. I don't know if it's House Amok or House Amok. Number 1, I got cover A and cover B, and again, I did not get the variant for that, the cover C. This one I read through, and it was actually pretty good. Beyonders number 1, I got cover A, and I really like that cover B. It's a cool looking cover. It's kind of a conspiracy. The kid's got all these, not really conspiracy there, but he's kind of going through history and looking at all these different events and how they tie together, and you'll kind of learn, I guess as the story goes on, you're going to learn about it, but it looks pretty good, and I've read through it, and I like that first one. I'm definitely going to keep going with that one. So that one has some potential to get picked up too. I could see that being picked up by Sci-Fi Channel or something, so that's great. I'd grab a copy if I were you. This one I talked about, I thought this was supposed to be out last week, but I got it today, or yesterday. So Black Badge number 1, I wanted a couple copies of those. And Matt Kint is the writer on that one. And he had that Kickstarter project going. It's ended now for that mind management with the record and the book. So I should be getting that hopefully in another month or so. We'll see. But I got a few emails saying they're ready to send it out. So it looks cool. Anyways, that looks like a good one. And I picked up Euthanauts number 2. I grabbed the first one and I thought it was pretty good, so I kept going with number 2. And I'll take a read of that and see what that one's like. I haven't read that one yet, so I can't give you an honest opinion on that one, but I enjoyed the first one, so see where it goes. That's it for my independents. From Marvel, I got a couple reprints. I picked up another one of these Venom number 3 second printings. I got it for cover price. And, you know, I keep recommending these because the people ask me, why do you recommend these, Jim? And I'll be honest, the print runs are super low. And because they're a completely different cover than your regular cover, they're highly collectible. And when it's a major run like this Venom run is, like Kate's, as you're all aware, this is an epic run, and he's completely changing not just the symbiote universe, but it's tying into everything else in the Marvel universe. So this is a key run, and you know, these variants are highly collectible, so they're going to have some value down the road, especially if you get the second. I mean, it depends on the covers too. This is a really nice looking cover, so that's a good one. I picked up a 4th printing of issue 1. I don't know that one's going to be as much as like number 3, obviously, with the first appearance of Noel's a good one to get. So I got those. I picked up the Daredevil annual. I mentioned I'm trying to get back into Daredevil. I used to read them years ago, and then I stopped for the longest time, but I haven't read that one yet, but I'll give it a go. So Venom First Host number 1. This is a good one, and one of my subscribers said, Jim, you know, it's kind of hard to read Venom after reading Kate's, and yeah, you know, to be honest, it really is, because I read this and like, oh man, it's just not as good, but it is still a good one to get because it is the first full appearance of Telkar, that new character. So where he's going to be and what his role is going to be going forward, I don't know. But it's not just the first appearance; it's the first full appearance in Venom, that first host. So that's a good one to get. See where that ends up going. And I got Web of Venom, the Venom or Venom, I'm not sure how you pronounce it. Cover A and B, as I'm sure a lot of you did. I grabbed a couple copies of each one. You know, and it's written by Cates. It's got some good stuff in it. It ties, you know, the Grendel's frozen and they take a sample. Spoiler alert, just in case you're wondering. I'm not going to show any images, but you kind of learn a bit about the origin of the symbiotes that they're using and stuff. And so it's kind of cool. But to be honest, it wasn't, not as much happened in there as I thought it was going to, but it was still very good, but not up to the regular Venom series. X-23, I grabbed that one mainly for the cover. I thought something might happen in there. I read through it and it was, you know, it was typical X-23, not a ton happening. She's fighting the cuckoos and stuff, so it's okay, but I only grabbed it for the cover. And this is definitely a pick of the week for me. This Fantastic Four number 1, the facsimile edition. This one is really cool. It's a really nice cardstock cover, so it's not your typical paper cover. And it's funny because if you notice, it's got the $3.99 cover price on it. I showed that image in my video, and a few people said, well, that's everywhere they're looking, it shows 10 cents. But I think what a lot of people did was just show an image of the original comic and put it up and post it as this comic. But I got my image right from Marvel's site. It had the $3.99, so... But anyways, yeah, it's a true reprint of the original comic, including all the original ads, which is really cool. And then at the back of the book, there's some additional pages. And I'm going to open one up here just because on the back cover, there's a really cool, I don't know if you saw it or not, but there's a really nice artwork on the back of the comic, which is really cool. Sorry, I should have had this out already, but... Of course, I stuck it in Mylar too, which makes it a pain in the ass. So yeah, on the back, it's got this really nice painting here, which is awesome, by Dean White. So that looks really cool, and it's, you know, obviously in homage to that. Yeah, so inside you get all the original. Oh, it looks like my battery's going to die. Just give me 1 second, guys. I got to go change. All right, everyone, I'm back. My battery decided to die on me, so I had to switch out my battery. So I was just starting to show that inside the comic, they got all the original ads, which is really cool. You know, all the stuff I remember, you know, as a kid, seeing all these in the comic books, which is really awesome. And then at the back, they've got a lot of this. There's a little bit of bonus material. And that's this one here is actually what would have been the back of the back cover of the comic. So that's kind of awesome that they have that in there. And then there's just a bunch of a bit of a writing about Fantastic Four and all that kind of stuff. And then there's some old covers of the Fantastic Four and everything, which is pretty awesome. So like that, all the different homages they've done over the years for all the different comics, which is pretty awesome. That cover has been cover swiped I don't know how many times, probably more than just as much or more as Amazing Spider-Man 300, which seems to be, I think, every comic on the face of the planet is cover swiped at some point. But anyways, yeah, that's a really good one. This, I know it's a reprint, but some of these reprints, especially like this one, are highly collectible, just because a lot of people, like I was mentioning in my top picks video, it's just number one. To get a original number one in high grade is, man, you're paying through the nose. Like you're gonna pay a lot of money, and it's a book I really want, but I can buy a lot of other books I want for the money I drop on that. So this is one I definitely wanted to get. It's a really good one. That's one of my picks this week for sure. So that's it for Marvel. The couple of books I didn't get, and I highly recommend you do, is Edge of Spider-Geddon number 2. I'm going to put an image on the screen because I don't have it. As soon as I left my shop, I realized I didn't have it, and I wanted to get it. And I'm glad he called me. He had a couple of copies left, so we put them aside for it. I'll get them next week. But there's a first appearance of a new symbiote character that shows up in there, so definitely pick up Edge of Spider-Geddon number 2 if you can. If you haven't gone to your shop, or if you can go back there, grab a copy, because that'll be a good one. So for DC, I walked into my shop. He still had 2 copies, one of each cover, of Justice League Dark sitting on the shelf, so I grabbed them for cover price. I mean, how people didn't buy that, I have no idea. It's the first appearance of just the Upside Down Man, who is going to be a major player going forward. Mark my words on that one. So anybody that hasn't bought that, boy, you need to get that one. Picked up, there was all these one-shots, these DC Looney Tunes one-shots. The only one I grabbed was the Joker Daffy Duck. I got both covers, cover A and cover B. And the artwork in this is actually pretty good. The Batman Batman one from years ago with, oh geez, what am I trying to say? Porky Pig and Batman was really good. But the artwork in here is pretty darn good. And it's actually kind of a cool story. So, yeah, I recommend it. That one's a good one. And that variant cover, for whatever reason, seems like the price is jumping up a little bit on it. I don't think it'll ever get super expensive or anything, but it's a cool one to get. I really like all these ones. So I mentioned, so that's it for those one-shots. Like I say, that's the only one I got. I wasn't too interested in the others. I was going to pick up the Lex Luthor Porky Pig one, but I don't know, I didn't really want it. So Batgirl number 26. I really like Sean Gordon Murphy. I think he's underrated completely as far as an artist and a writer goes. As you all know, he did Batman White Knight. So he's done this cover. He's doing a whole bunch of, he's going to do a run of covers on Batgirl. So, and I've seen images for some of the next ones coming. They're really nice. So I'd highly recommend you pick those up if you can, because he's going places, that guy. And my other pick this week and it's from DC, is Nightwing Annual number 1. Right on the cover, you've got this, this is that new character Vire that I mentioned. It says right on it, Devoured by Vire. That is it's a full appearance. He's, or I think it's a she actually, is on, I don't know, like the last third of the book. She's all through it and tons of pages and lines and everything. So it's definitely a first full appearance, so that's a good one. And that is the first of 3 lieutenants in the Army of the Dark Web. So keep an eye on Nightwing over the next few issues, because the other 2 will be showing up as well. I don't know what those characters are, but yeah, definitely keep an eye on Nightwing going forward, because there will be some more appearances of those other lieutenants in that Dark Web. So anyways, that's it for me this week. I also didn't pick up Bone Parish. My shop didn't get them in for some reason, so I got to try and get a couple of those, because Bone Parish number 2 was out. I missed that one. So stuff coming down the road. From Marvel, there's some good stuff coming. You got Uncanny X-Men number 1 Disassembled. That comes out November 14th. That's just showing up. So you got lots of time to pre-order that if you want to. Avengers number 10. That comes out November 14th as well, and that's the 700th issue. So that's a milestone issue for Avengers. So that's going to be a good one to get. There's a ton of covers for that, as usual with Marvel. couple of them are really nice, so I'm looking at that one for sure. And I mentioned that Old Man Logan was ending at issue number 50, and I thought he was going to die in that. And I had a few people, as I said earlier, I got some really good subscribers. They're like, yeah, Jim, I don't think he's going to die in there because there's that Dead Man Logan series coming out. And sure enough, I kind of shit the bed on that one. But yeah, Dead Man Logan comes out November 28th. That looks, I think it's 12-issue run. So we'll see what happens in there. I'm guessing he's going to die. So anyways, that's November 28th. One that looks really cool is the Black Order #1, November 7th. So they're going to have, the Black Order is going to have their own comic series. I think it's a miniseries. I think it's a 5-issue miniseries. Like that, I got to double check, but it's kind of a supervillain adventure, so that looks cool. I'm definitely going to pick that one up. And some future issues of Immortal Hulk. Oh, man, I'm really liking this Immortal Hulk series. And issue number 8, I'm going to put an image on the screen. It's basically the Hulk cut up in pieces and stuffed into jars on a shelf. So I don't know, man. That's kind of creepy, but obviously he's not going to be dead. He'll come back to life somehow, but how that's going to happen, I don't know. And then issue number 9 is Carl Creel, the Absorbing Man. I got to do a little research on that because I don't remember the Absorbing Man. I don't think it's a new character, but it possibly is, but we'll see. And like I say, I still think issue number 6, that green door, we're going to find out what's on the other side of that green door and who's looking back. So we'll see if this Carl Creel has anything to do with that or not. I don't know. We'll see. From DC, Electric Warriors #1. That comes out November 14th as well. That looks pretty cool. The Green Lantern #1. So that's going to be a new series starting November 7th. And Grant Morrison's the writer on that. So that'll be pretty darn good. Definitely going to start. I haven't been picking up Green Lantern at all except for the odd issue here and there. But that one looks awesome. And I've mentioned Batman Beyond a few times. I've started reading that the last few issues. It's actually been pretty good. And they're introducing some new characters in there. And issue number 25 is going to have the original Joker coming back. And issue number 26 has got the original Joker on the cover. And I got the image on the screen there. That's just an awesome looking cover. Issue 25 is a foil cover, by the way, just so you're going to there's a whole bunch of foil covers coming from DC pretty soon. There's a whole bunch of them. From Image, Outer Darkness #1, sci-fi horror series coming out, and that's by the co-creator of Chew, and that comes out November 7th, so that one looks like a really good one. I'm definitely picking that one up. And another one from Image that looks pretty awesome is Middle West #1, November 21st, and that's put out by Scotty Young is a writer on that, so kind of a supernatural adventure thing. That looks pretty cool too, so definitely grab that. Dark Horse, Alien 3, #1 comes out November 7th, and this comic is actually based on the original screenplay for Alien 3 by William Gibson. He's the writer. But it wasn't used for the movie. They went and used a different screenplay for it. So it'll be interesting to see this because it's going to have a lot of the same characters, but it'll be a different story. So that looks pretty awesome. So anyways, that's it for my haul this week. Like I say, a little lighter this week. I know I said I wouldn't say that anymore, but it was. So anyways, just real quick in the background, sometimes I forget to talk about what I got. So I got Amazing Spider-Man #119 on the left and #120 on the right. Those are a couple of really good ones to get if you can find them, because it's obviously an Incredible Hulk story arc with Spider-Man. It's a great little battle they're having. And Detective Comics 584. There's nothing special about the book. It's dirt cheap, but I just really like the cover. It's kind of got an old Neil Adams look to it. It's not Neil Adams' cover, but it's got that type of look to it. I really liked it. So I like those red and orange backgrounds when you can get them. So anyways, that is it for me this week, everybody. Happy hunting. Your comic shops this week. Remember, support your local comic shops. If anybody goes into All About Books and Comics, say hi to the owners for me. And I will talk to you all later. Take care, everyone. Bye for now.